So what's up everybody, this is going to be my Black Clover 354 predictions. I know it's going to be kind of a wait until we get this chapter, but depending on when you guys see this video, but still this chapter is going to be an interesting one because I get the feeling we're going to not focus on Asta for a bit. We're going to start focusing on other characters, especially the ones that we haven't seen in a while. So let's get into my Black Clover 354 predictions. First of all, if you like anime manga reviews, discussion, spoilers, and theories, definitely hit the subscribe button. If you like the video, Sway should hit me with some false copyright strikes. So let's get this channel back to 5,000. Thank you so much for the support, comment. So Black Clover 353 ended basically like an arc was supposed to end. I know some of you guys have been telling me that, in fact, this is basically the end of the last arc in terms of how Lucifer was defeated, and apparently this is what the celebration we should have gotten from that arc. I can see where you guys are saying that. We did have that time skip, but it does feel like the Land of the Rising Sun mini arc is like a continuation of the arc with Lucifer. I think we're going to have like a training arc with the other characters. We're probably going to get maybe 10 if not 15 chapters of us figuring out what exactly is going on with the other characters in terms of the captains, the Black Bulls. One of you guys did mention to me that there's a possibility that the other characters, basically the Black Bulls and guessing the Heart Kingdom as well, is going to be a part of this. Also the Clover Captains and the Golden Dawns, they're going to get stronger by being introduced to the dwarves, and the dwarves probably have like a certain type of ability or certain type of power that they can teach this other group of characters. Similar like how it happened in the fight against the devils with Lucifer, how some of the characters learn ultimate magic from the elves. Maybe the dwarves have their own technique that they can teach the other group that we haven't seen in a while. I mean, that's a possibility. We haven't gotten explained as to how Charmy and Yami met. Like, we know from like a flashback, Yami met Charmy randomly in the forest, and I'm pretty sure that has been withheld throughout the whole entire story for a good reason. Everybody in Black Clover has a backstory besides Charmy. We just know that she's half dwarf, half human, but we don't know why. Since a long time, I've been saying that Charmy's backstory was going to be saved for something important, and I think what's going on with the Land of the Rising Sun and that little old Charmy doll that they have, that's basically the food god. Charmy has some connection to the Land of the Rising Sun, and I think it's like the dwarves, some underground portal or some underground technique that they can travel to the Land of the Rising Sun. So in my opinion, we're probably going to see the Black Bulls in this chapter, and we're probably going to get introduced to a whole new group of characters in terms of like, we might see where the dwarves are at. I think the Black Bulls are going to see the dwarves is because Charmy's with them. We know for a fact Charmy is going to have to be in the Land of the Rising Sun. There's just too much setup for her to not be in the Land of the Rising Sun. Obviously, Yami's connection to the Land of the Rising Sun is his homeland, and Yami has influenced every Black Bull member. So it's clear that we're going to see Charmy in the Land of the Rising Sun. So when we get back into focus to the other characters, we're most likely going to see a way that Charmy and the Black Bulls find a way to the Land of the Rising Sun, and it's most likely has to do with the dwarves. So I wouldn't be surprised if the dwarves are introduced in this chapter, or we get like a little hints of the dwarves. I think Charmy is going to be that link, and it's most likely going to be the dwarves that connects the Clover Kingdom continent to the Land of the Rising Sun. We already know that there's a food in the 𝚲𝚘𝚙𝚢 village that apparently is in the Land of the Rising Sun as well. Asta, when he came in, there was like a type of food product that he was one of his favorites growing up. It was also in the Land of the Rising Sun. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's trade between the 𝚲𝚙𝚢 village and the Land of the Rising Sun. So there might be dwarves underground somewhere, or there might be like a tunnel connecting to the Dwarven Kingdom in the 𝚲𝚙𝚢 village, because the Black Bulls are most likely going to stop and tell what happened to Asta to the orphans in that village, Asta's hometown. We might get that in this chapter. I also think we're going to get an update with Lucius, because he's going to figure out, hey, it's been a long time since the Paladins left for the Land of the Rising Sun. Why aren't they there? It makes me wonder, does Lucius have a connection to these Paladins? Can he understand, or actually some have a connection in terms of seeing their memories as they were Paladins? Like, maybe there's a way Lucius can can be interconnected with them magically, right? Because technically he does have soul magic and he has affected these paladins' soul. So there's most likely a connection with Lucius and the paladins via their soul. So Lucius might already know what's going on in the land of the rising sun. He could probably see like a future where 𝚲𝚘 is literally fighting in this war that they're about to have on Judgment Day. So I wouldn't be surprised if Lucius decides to possibly bring more paladins or create more paladins to fight 𝚲𝚘 or to fight the people in the land of the rising sun, because he figures out that there's something off. He most likely sees that 𝚲𝚘 is still alive. If I remember correctly, Lucius did say that 𝚲𝚘 is like the person that he can't see clearly the future, or the future gets foggy when 𝚲𝚘's around. There's a possibility that Lucius doesn't really see the reason why the paladins fell in terms of the future, and he probably doesn't see 𝚲𝚘 fighting, but something tells me we're going to see Lucius in this chapter. We're probably going to get an update as to what is he thinking, what is his plan forward. I said this multiple times, Yuno is out for blood. Yuno just think he lost his brother. You know, he saw him basically get a fatal wound and blasted to oblivion by literally the person that raised Yuno as a mother. It's a double whammy in terms of how Yuno is feeling. I didn't even think of this. Yuno just lost basically a real mother figure in his life. Even though Yuno has his own mother now, the person that really raised him was Sister Lily as like a big sister slash mother role. He just saw that woman for what he believes to blast 𝚲𝚘 into oblivion. Yuno is out for revenge. We might get like a character development with Yuno. I know that some people have been saying that Yuno might fall to depravity, and then we might see like a 5 clover grimoire. I don't see that happening, but that is a possibility. Yuno fights Lucius, he ends up losing, and then somehow Yuno basically gets corrupted by the underworld, and we see this like disturbed Yuno that is out for revenge because he literally just saw his brother and his mother figure get taken away from him. I think that's a big possibility, but I wonder if because he has the other elf soul in him, is a possibility that the elf soul in him makes him not be able to transform into completely an evil Yuno in terms of just falling into depravity, falling into despair. And even though he does get like a 5-leaf clover grimoire, somehow it still ends up being a power-up. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case, but there's a possibility that Yuno does turn into a paladin. I said that before. Yuno probably fights Lucius and then he loses, but and then instead of killing off Yuno, Lucius decides to turn Yuno into a paladin. And I said that before in other videos. Wouldn't be surprised if, you know, the next couple of chapters, this fight that we're probably going to see against Yuno and Lucius start in this chapter ends up with Yuno being like part paladin. We might even see it in this chapter, to be honest with you. Black Clover is so fast paced. If not this chapter, maybe the next couple of chapters, but knowing how 𝚲𝚘 is, he always wants to power up 𝚲𝚘 and then power up Yuno at the same time. So technically they're basically almost at the same level, but Yuno is just a little bit ahead. So I think if Yuno does turn into a paladin or fall into despair, he's going to find a way to control himself, similar to in the elf arc. He has one body, 2 souls, similar to Julius and Lucius, and we're probably going to get that explained a little bit more as to that 2 soul and 1 body thing that we keep seeing in Black Clover, that theme. We might get a focus or a recap as to what happened to the people in the Clover Kingdom. We might see a wake set up for 𝚲𝚘, because I'm like 100% sure on this that there's going to be people who literally think that 𝚲𝚘 is gone. They're not going to have much hope. Probably going to try to figure out how to move from here. Yami seemed like he was very torn up. The person that literally raised him as a like little brother type of figure, Julius, was basically like a father figure slash big brother to Yami, because obviously we saw that Yami's father was much of a dad. So we're probably going to get that reaction or probably inner dialogue that I've been waiting to see for a long time from Yami, of him figuring out who Lucius really was, who Julius really was. That being said, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens moving forward with those captains, because how are they going to fight? Are we going to see them train? Are we going to see them get stronger? It's going to be interesting next chapter. That's basically all I have to say. Let me know what you think Black Clover 354 is going to be about. Let me know what you think about this video. Let me know what you think Yuno is going to do in terms of, is he going to be out for blood and trying to find out where Lucius is and somehow stumble upon him, or is Lucius going to find Yuno and wipe him out because of that future that Lucius mentioned that involves Yuno? Do you think the Black Wolves are going to meet the dwarves? Do you think the dwarven techniques could possibly help them reach the land of the rising sun in some way in terms of the Black Bulls? Do you think that the captains are going to be really down and a lot of them are going to have that drive to move forward? Like if you liked the video, comment, subscribe, and I'm out of here.